Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Kimberly Eldricks. I'm the Director of Membership with NACD, and welcome to the Assisting Tribal Nations Through Youth Corps breakout session. The Indian Nations Conservation Alliance, in partnership with NACD, initiated a pilot youth corps program targeting at-risk Native American youth to introduce youth to the field of natural resources. In this session, our speakers will share the program's goals and how they can be applied to all conservation districts. Our first speaker is Delane Atcitty. Delane is the Executive Director for the Indian Nations Conservation Alliance. Delane has over 26 years of hands-on experience in agriculture and natural resource management. He has a degree in ranch management and agribusiness from Texas A&M and has worked in all segments of the cattle industry. Delane also holds board positions with the Navajo Agriculture Products Industry, Society for Range Management, and Holistic Management International. Our second speaker is Heidi Brewer. Heidi is the Northern Plains Regional Coordinator for the Indian Nations Conservation Alliance. She holds a Bachelor of Science and Master's of Science degree in Agriculture Education from Montana State University. She served 11 years as a County Conservation District employee, 10 years with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and 17 years with Farm Service Agency. Before I pass the floor to our speakers, just a reminder for everyone that our speakers are online to answer your questions during the presentation in the chat box. Delane and Heidi, thank you for being with us, and the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Delane Atcitty. I'm the Executive Director of Indian Nations Conservation Alliance. Today, I'm here to talk with everyone about our Indian Nation Conservation Alliance Youth Corps that we initiated last year in 2020. I just wanted to start us off with, some of the thinking behind this youth corps. And to do that, I'll have to talk about where these tribal youth are coming from, their situation in the background. So, as many of you know, our tribal reservations are they're areas of high unemployment. There's not a lot of places to be employed on our tribal reservations besides our tribal departments and some of our federal departments. Other than that, it's really hard to find employment on our reservations. Some of the unemployment numbers across the board for our nations are upwards above 60% unemployment. And for example, the Navajo Nation has 315,000 members. About 280,000 are said to live on the reservation. And that gives us an average mean income, according to their statistics, of $9,200 a year is their average mean income. So there's a lot of obstacles that these tribal youth are facing in this day and age. And one of them is, access to hands-on natural resource management experience. So that's where we started putting everything together. Tribal rangeland consists of 95 million acres approximately, with some farmland included in that across the United States. And where we see an opportunity in the future for these tribal youth, once they get some experience under their belt and some college or some kind of advanced degree, to come back as either a consultant or maybe as a natural resource director, or something that they can advance their careers with, working up through the process of technicians and going up the ladder of success in natural resources. So we're looking to employ and work with tribal youth that are between the ages of 18 and 26 years old. Most of our youth corps right now, we kind of patterned it after something more structured. We saw in the past, we had a youth program. It wasn't a youth corps. And where I see the disconnect in that is that we really need to get their hands dirty, and get them to where they actually see, what the job consists of in the field. There's only so much you can learn behind the desk. So that's where we saw that this opportunity to do projects natural resource oriented projects at the tribal level, and then also working with federal agencies that have a budget for work to do on tribal lands. So that's where it was all starting to fit together like a puzzle. So the other idea behind this is, our tribal youth are they're no different than other youth out there. They're all facing um, alcoholism, uh, drug problems, and then also high suicide rates on our tribal nations. Yeah, a lot of them, they failed to see a future for them. And so this is what we're hoping to accomplish with this youth program, is give them training, have everybody outfitted as equals, kind of like a wildland firefighting situation where you have a squad that you work under and you have a leader that takes care of your admin work. And so this first year, as Heidi will talk about next, is it kind of grew beyond our expectations, and with really good results, really good feedback from the participants. And so, in fact, I got a call one night, like at 3 a.m, from one of the youth worried about next year's program and what we're going to have in store for them. So I thought, if they're worried about it at 3 a.m, we've got to be on to something, because it just shows that it's benefiting them, And thanks to NACD for making this possible. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. As Kimberly stated, my name is Heidi Brewer. I'm the Northern Plains Regional Conservationist for INCA. And Delane provided the thoughts behind the Youth Corps program. And I'm going to talk about the pilot program that we had during the summer of 2020, the Chippewa Cree Youth Corps program. As we stated during last summer, we initiated the pilot program. Even with the health restrictions that we have, we were able to pull it off. So we were very excited about that. The overall goals of the program were twofold. The first was to give youth work experience and life skills with getting boots on the ground, so to speak, as Delane stated, doing locally important conservation work while receiving input from cultural leaders and elders. Secondly, was to increase awareness and participation in tribal conservation districts. INCA wanted to employ at-risk youth, as Delane also stated, who were between the ages of 18 and 28, who require intervention and mentoring to achieve economic self-sufficiency. The area chosen for the pilot program was the Chippewa Cree tribe, which is located in northern Montana. The focus of the program was to work with a higher than normal age range of students who tend to get left behind. A and B students can receive scholarships, tend to have more opportunities than other students, but there are other students out there. INCA's goal through the program was to treat students fair, give them a good wage, and provide much needed mentoring. But the first thing that INCA had to do was to fill the vacated tribal district coordinator position for the Chippewa Cree Tribal Conservation District. In May of 2020, INCA hired Randall Black Eagle to not only serve as the tribal district coordinator, but to also be the overall leader mentor for the Youth Corps crew. With guidance from the Montana Conservation Corps, Randall hit the ground running and began meeting with local high schools and the tribal college to find likely candidates to hire as crew members. The Montana Conservation Corps works to inspire young people through hands-on conservation service to be leaders, stewards of the land, and engaged citizens who improve their communities. 6 Youth Corps members were hired, a team leader and 5 crew members. The crew members also received college credits, which were made available through Stonechild College, which is the local tribal college for the Chippewa Cree tribe. The first week, the crew met in a classroom, which was donated by the Stonechild College. In the classroom, they took first aid training, they finished their INCA personnel paperwork, and they discussed what conservation meant to them at that point. At that point, the majority of the crew members did not know what conservation was or what it did mean to them. But later on in the presentation, I will show some of their own words of what conservation meant to them after they completed their time with the Youth Corps. Official crew shirts were purchased so each crew member would be dressed alike, therefore providing them a sense of professionalism and belonging to something. 40% of the work performed in the program was to help tribal cultural leaders and elders with ceremonial activities. Crew members were fortunate to have 3 community elders advise them on various cultural activities, as well as assist with the largest cultural event in the community, the Sundance Lodge. Discussion with the elders was invaluable to the crew members. A majority of the crew had never experienced the cultural aspect of the ceremonies. The crew assisted the Chippewa Cree Natural Resource and Forestry departments in collecting data on 38 range units that are managed by the Natural Resource Department. The data collected was used to create conservation plans for those units. In addition to creating conservation plans, the data collected will be used to complete the Agricultural Resource Management Plan, or the long-range plan, for all the agricultural resource uses on the reservation. The crew members learned how to complete GPS points on the units, and they also found 4 spring developments. The mapping of the range units was estimated as a 3-year project and consisted of 5 major areas: fencing, livestock and wildlife management, agriculture and noxious weed, spring developments, and water sources. Training included ArcGIS mapping, like I said, GPS, partnering with federal agencies, and completing rangeland assessments. The pilot program began June 22nd and ended August 17th. When we first started planning, we wanted it to be a 6 to 8 week course. It did run a little bit longer due to the health restrictions, and some of the crew members had to be in quarantine for a few days. So therefore, all the crew members couldn't work. At the end of the program, the crew members had natural resource work experience, a complete job application package, including their transcripts, a letter of reference signed by Delane, and a certificate of completion. As I stated earlier in this presentation, at the beginning of the program, the crew members did not really have an answer as to what conservation meant to them. I don't think they really even understood what maybe conservation was. But at the end of the program, here's what the crew members had to say in their own words about conservation. Conservation to me is the care and protection of the earth. We are connected to everything. Take one thing away, and this earth will change. If we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. Conservation is conserving the land for the future generations. Mother Nature provides everything we need to survive. Water is the main lifeline. We need clean water for all life. Everybody in our community will and can make a big difference if we all work together and keep a positive mindset, because we need to have a healthy community so our kids and their kids can have a happy life, to give them and others hope when they are having a tough time in life. To fund the pilot program, INCA refocused the NACD funding that was provided to the Chippewa Cree Tribal Conservation District. That funding was provided in 2019. We used the funds to purchase equipment. They paid for the rental of the vehicle to transport the crew members, and they paid for the crew members' wages. INCA's hope for the youth is that they will be part of the Tribal Conservation District in the future. These Youth Corps crew members have a good start in becoming local resource leaders who understand their tribal lands and culture. I have to back up here. I missed a slide. INCA wants to thank NACD for this funding. This Youth Corps pilot program would not be possible without the NACD funding, which builds a bridge between tribes, NRCS, and NACD. So Delane will talk a little bit more about where we want to take the Youth Corps, but the INCA's goal is to support more of these Youth Corps projects across the country. Some of them are listed here, and Delane will speak to them in a little more detail. And he will also speak to you about the where we hope to have like a national Youth Corps where all the Youth Corps could meet at one place and receive professional training. Delane will go into that in a little bit further detail. And here is Delane's contact information. Should you have any questions regarding INCA or have any insight into types of projects that INCA could do, or where the Youth Corps could be advanced. I thank you for your time. I'll turn it over to Delane.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Heidi. Thanks for that wonderful presentation regarding our tribal youth program. You know, some of the things that we did to get this program prepped was we ordered about 50 of these Sand County almanacs by Aldo Leopold, and we assigned that to each one of these youth. You know, some of the trends that we're seeing on tribal reservation high schools is that they're not pushing forward with 4-H programs much anymore. There's no natural resource curriculum at all in a lot of our tribal high schools. And also our community college, even our tribal community college are lacking some of these. But I saw within the last couple of years, you know, some of them are offering, you know, range management courses and also some kind of environmental courses. So that's a positive trend that we're seeing out there. Another big part, a huge part, in fact, of this Youth Corps was also the cultural part. You know, as Native Americans, we have a strong oral history that gets passed down generation to generation. And, you know, with these, with the newer generation, you know, there's starting to be a lapse in some of that. So we wanted to make sure we fit in the cultural aspect in this program. And as Heidi said earlier, you know, they met with tribal elders. And, you know, it brought me back to a discussion that I had with my grandmother. She's 102 years old. And she talked about, and this was really beneficial to me. She talked about things that she remembered when she was a youth. and, you know, having grass knee high, and, you know, when you're a kid, you're a lot smaller. So knee high means something different. But now in that area where she was raised, you know, there is a lot of overgrazing issues. And so just to know that fact that, you know, things were like that at one time. And there was, you know, she always remembers um, uh, kind of a mist in the morning, you know, a fog. And that's something you don't see anymore. So a lot of these stories need to be passed down to these youth, so, you know, they can carry it on with them and pass it down to their kids and grandkids in the future. So I thought this was a strong aspect of that. And one person that really pushed this too, and really really gave us a lot of support behind this, is the late Barry Hamilton. And, you know, we also like to thank him for everything he's done for our organization and pushing this youth program also, along with NACD. Another big aspect that we wanted to really push with this is professionalism. You know, we wanted to let these students know that we're going to pay you a good wage. We got them a pretty you know, compared to the area and wages in the past, we really push for a good wage. And our thinking behind that is, you know, that they have something, we paid them monthly. So they had a little bit of money to, you know, maybe they wanted to pay down on college credits, or maybe they needed to purchase something that would advance their careers. So that was the thinking behind our wages. And with good wages, we wanted professionalism. We wanted them to show up every day on time. And, you know, to my knowledge, that was never an issue, you know, because they knew they could, you know, there's somebody in line behind them willing to take that slot. Part of this professionalism is we wanted to make sure that they had planners. And so we got them planners so they can pretty much map out their, you know, the year, and you know, what they were going to get done. And we wanted to make sure that they were able to have a job packet. And this is something that we got good reviews on. You know, if I was at this age and I got this mentorship, you know, who knows, I would have been a little bit further. But just having a job packet, we made sure they had a resume, a letter of reference, and also a certificate of completion. And you know, they can bring that up to wherever they might go in the future. Just the fact that they started one and got it going. Some of our goals, our main goals of this youth corps is to, first of all, we're starting with the youth. We're, you know, conservation districts have been around for quite a while now. And for some reason or another, maybe they were initiated on these tribal lands, and then they just kind of lost their luster over the years. And so, you know, last winter we did a lot of reflection on, you know, why is this not working, or what is a possibility to work better? You know, how can we improve this, and what do we need? And so pretty much doing a gap analysis of what needs to be done. So we got to thinking, you know, a lot of our Native American ranchers and farmers, and it's like this in the overall ranching and farming. You know, people are over 65, and a lot of our participants were over 65 that were coming to our meetings, but they weren't bringing their kids or grandkids. It was always the ones that are the older ones. And, you know, this older bunch, they're pretty much set in their ways. You know, they have their leases, they have their equipment, they have their, you know, their livestock, they have their farm, you know. So it was kind of hard to get them to, you know, form a board, or you know, go into any kind of make any progress. So we thought, well, let's get some youth involved and see if that'll light the fire. And that's exactly what it did. It lit the fire in the community. Things were being acknowledged that, you know, this was a good program and it did benefit them. Even as I go across our nation, talking to tribal leadership, they think this is an excellent idea and an excellent opportunity for them to gauge the future of their natural resource use in their community. One of the trends here within the last decade or two, and this might be due to, lack of management, I guess, is that they consolidated a lot of their natural resource programs to now just being a environmental program. And so that was something that was unheard of decades ago. They always had a natural resource program that had a rangeland program and a farming program that was a part of it. But I'm hoping that, with this program, we could reinvigorate the interest and move forward. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities with tribal natural resources. It's not following the outside trend of you know fractionating the farmland or the rangeland. This is tribal natural resources that is kept intact as a whole. So that's one benefit of this. Another goal that we have is to have these youth as our future natural resource managers, whether they do it for their tribe, maybe they're a natural resource director for another tribe, or maybe they take on roles like with INCA and they become the director of INCA in the future, or some of our other Native organizations. So that's another goal that we have with this. And then our last goal, and it's not the least, we really need to focus on communication and interaction with our tribal nations, our state organizations, our state agencies, and our federal agencies. I could see that right now as being a little bit of a bottleneck. So as we move forward in the future and we start to work with this partnership with NACD, I think that's where we'll see the most benefit out of this, is opening this line of communication. Okay, in the future, we with this Chippewa Cree project, we did get an opportunity to work on this was at the tail end of it, and at that point, I was crossing my fingers and praying every day that we didn't get COVID in doing this, and this was right before COVID really hit that reservation. It just kind of took its time climbing up the United States to where it reached Montana. So we had a little bit of time. And so we were approached to do a couple more projects. One was a wildlife habitat project, and then the other one was biocontrol. So it looks like we're going to push the biocontrol project onto this coming year, 2021, and we'll get that done, and that'll be part of their natural resource training. This year, we look to work with a few more tribes, specifically the Ogallala Sioux, the Cheyenne Arapaho, the White Mountain Apache, the Duck Valley tribe in Nevada, and then possibly the Crow tribe in Montana also. And, in 2 years, I'm hoping that we can have a youth conference, maybe tied to our national conference, that showcases what they did in their communities, what they got done. And then also we would invite universities to come attend this as, to possibly recruit them as students. And then we also want to invite federal agencies and state agencies to attend. And maybe even the tribal departments will take part in this to find their next natural resource manager. So, I'm really excited about this program. The youth is our future. Right now, we're planting a seed that will be harvested in years to come. And one quote that I got from a Native American judge is, everything we do is a byproduct. Our main crop is the youth. So, growing hay bales and raising livestock and whatnot is our byproduct. Our main product is our youth. So that's the route we want to take here at INCA. And we have the qualified staff and we have the funding to get this done. So again, thanks to NACD for making this possible. Thank you.
Well, Delane and Heidi, thank you so much for your time and presentation today. I hope everyone enjoyed this breakout session. Please don't forget to return to the meeting agenda to pick the next session you'd like to attend, and thank you for joining us.